Welcome back from the break, everyone. So what is freedom of expression and how far should it go? Can it go? And do we need to stop it at any level? If we talk plenty about censorship, but this is the other side of the same coin. We have had in our history, in our country, times when entertainers, newscasters, musicians have been asked to cut hair, wear a covering on their heads. And I would like to know your feelings on this. Is this censorship or is this curbing of freedom of expression? What exactly is this?
Now, please tell me. There's one question which comes to my mind. You are making television programs, for example. There's something which you... a show, for example. Now, look at society. We educated people tend to look at all this through our own eyes. We don't realize that maybe 80% of Pakistan is rural and conservative.
Okay.
And we are not making sure that so all our debate is elitist.
Limited to this segment of the population.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Yes. And when a state or somebody tries to bring in that part of society into play by saying that some restrictions have to be there, then the educated class in us, we start reacting and saying that this is too much. We start chafing a bit. We start chafing a bit. So I think we have to understand what is happening. What is Pakistan like? And there are so many opinion polls in Pakistan which surprise you. You know, there was an opinion poll about 2 years ago which talked about the implementation of Sharia in Pakistan, and 80% of the people said that Sharia should be implemented in this country. Now, what happened? Maybe they're looking for justice only, but that is also Pakistan.
Real Pakistan.
The real Pakistan. So I and you probably do not represent that part of Pakistan as much as what exists. Now, looking at that, if the government and if some board of censorship then tries to curtail what is happening, that there has to be some understanding. But cutting of hair and all these things are probably irrelevant. But how much nudity can you allow? There is no nudity on Pakistan television. But how much of dressing, which is not part of our culture, do you allow in our own programs? But you do show Western programs with a different dress code. Probably that to society is acceptable. You know what happens if a girl from my family or a boy from my family indulges in any vulgarity? I'm much more bothered than what is happening in the rest of society, because he reflects me. So therefore there will always be two standards between programs produced by television in Pakistan and what you import and show. Do you agree?
Okay. Yeah, my concern was that at a national level, when you start to maybe implement issues like this or start to take actions like this, you may in the public's eye start to change perceptions about human beings. And I'm just wondering, it is a thought which has crossed my mind, whether the way that we view women and the contribution they make to the society didn't change as a result of that curbing of freedom of expression.
I believe that some part of our society their entire thoughts revolve around women. She needs to do hijab, she needs to do this, she needs to do that. I wish the same section, whether it's a religious segment or not, I wish the same segment should be talking about women's rights. Now, when you talk about rights, when you liberate women to work in society, to be able to, of course, to hold on to the family, and in fact, in holding on to the family and rearing children, I'm gender equal. Gender equal means I believe there should be a homemaker, there is a woman. Physiologically, because she is producing children and because she is rearing the children, it seems appropriate that during that time she becomes a homemaker. But it could be a male homemaker also. Children need attention. You see, television cannot take that place. Nothing can take that. They need tender, loving care. They need you. They need hugging. They need time.
Nurturing.
Yeah, they need nurturing. They need all the love which you can give them. And if you work, I mean, I don't know whether you work so much. If woman and the man both work out and they come and they give quality time, I'm sorry, they're not taking quality time from the children also, because children also are giving quality time. They need you and you need them.
Yes.
Because they bring balance to you. So I believe that when you bring so many curbs only on women, you talk only on women, the woman should not do this, the woman should not do that, you're curbing the development. You see, the Islam came, you know, sometimes these Islam came, it liberated women here. It liberated women in a society. As they were being born, they were being killed, and the infanticide was going on. And they liberated to the extent that the Prophet took opinion from everybody. The woman went into jihad. They did everything possible, you know. So it liberated men, their minds. They took them off from infanticide and so many other things which were happening. Yeah, and they liberated women. So I believe when you're talking about censorship, etc., please remove that total focus from women to maybe issues also. There are issues which may need censorship. You know, brutality.
Far more pressing
yes.
issues.
So don't focus on women. Censorship does not mean women only.
Blast, children, child labor, unavailability of education, lack of water. There's so many other things which seem to me much greater pressing requirements in our culture which are being missed with this preoccupation with this power trip with women. I don't get this. I really don't get this, you know.
Absolutely.
Anyway, freedom. Okay, last thoughts, because you really have to go, and I think someone upstairs just might shoot me if I carry on today. She's got to do so much editing to know. Forgive me. But freedom of thought, freedom of expression, freedom of thought, freedom of movement at the public level, at the private level, and at the personal level. Private, sort of like semi-family, commercial, because there are three separate levels that we all operate at. How do you feel?
The best communicator, personally, is somebody who understands the right use of words, who doesn't hurt when the person talks. You see, what happens at the personal level happens at the international level. The phobia of President Wood regarding the Muslims was personal phobia.
It was.
You see, and what I learn and what I educate my children and everybody else to learn is to be able to communicate without hurting anybody's feeling. Now, if I want to criticize you, Amina, on anything, I must first recognize, it's so simple, like child, I must first recognize your credits, what good things you do, and then I point out, Amina, if you can do this thing also in this manner, you public take it. You have to open the heart to somebody before you criticize. Same thing I would tell my children, you know, you do such good job, my son or whoever, but if you can handle this also, it will be great. So that will be much better than saying that you did this wrong, I don't want you to do that, never do this again.
It's a very negative approach.
Very negative approach.
And I think maybe at a national level, maybe that's what we need to
so
change.
Communication. Better communication and everything.
Just keep it positive.
Yes, just keep it
Can we stop saying no?
This culture is very good in the sense that people cannot say no. They bend over backwards. There are books which have been written, learn to say no. I would never read that, you know, because the beauty of this culture is that you don't say no, you bend over backwards, you accommodate everybody. That's something which is Eastern.
Eastern. Well, at least I'm glad you clarified it. Thank you very much for joining us on the first class. That was great fun. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our show. Censorship, freedom of expression, but let's be politically correct on the first class today. And let me end with, please write to us at the first class at dawnnews.tv. We at the team very much appreciate your input for today's show, watching us. We hope you had fun. We had lots of fun doing this one, and we'll see you again.